Steam engines are operated at all in the United States is becoming a little bit more rare each year. I mean, there have been a number of railroads that have had steam operations and they have discontinued it. And the challenge there is it is a heavy financial burden to operate steam, and also the challenges of just having the right people to be able to maintain the equipment. So those factors enter into it. You throw on top of that the fact that you're operating in the wintertime, so you have all of those issues coming together.
Winter steam trains attract interest because it's such a rare thing in this day and age, in this century. It's almost unheard of to do. There's still a few places in the United States that do it, and we are one of the few. Anyway, I like to prove the fact that we can do it. We're not just a summertime operation. You know, one of the things the railroad has always been good at is running in the snow. You know, even today, Amtrak, you know, when all the airlines are closed down, Amtrak is still running along. And we can do the same thing here at Conway Scenic. And we do.
We got into running a special steam excursion as a photographer special because Laro Productions found out that we were doing a special trip with the Mass Bay Railroad enthusiasts. They in turn wanted to have or offer an opportunity for special photographers to come and take that because it is so special to have a steam operation in the wintertime.
And since we operate steam right into December for the Polor Express, it was only natural to hold it over a couple of weeks to operate right around the first weekend of the year. So it can be difficult, but the rewards of running steam in the winter are just spectacular because as the steam condenses in the cold air, you get just wonderful large billows of steam that you don't get in the summertime. And that's what the guys are after. That's what makes winter steam so special, is all those steam and smoke effects that you don't see in the summertime. So normally, you know, you take a horizontal picture. In the wintertime, they're mostly all verticals to get all of that nice condensate billowing up into the sky. So we enjoy doing it.
When we run a special, a lot of times one of the features of that is to have what's called a photo run by. And in so doing, we stop the train, we let those people off of the train that want to take some pictures of the train as it passes them by. We run the train back away from them and then run the train towards them and actually pass them by. And they take the photographs that they want to take. special photographer special like we did with Valero people. They had several locations, well, more than several locations. They had like a dozen different locations that they had scouted out, and they wanted those particular places for us to stop and do the photo run by. So we did. We did approximately, on that Sunday, we did approximately 30 photo run bys. So we worked that steam engine pretty hard, and we got to the point in the afternoon. Here's another challenge of the steam operation. We were running low on water, and the only place we could get water is back here at the terminal. So we actually had to say that was the last photo run by, we got to get home. So about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was getting dark anyway, so we had to come back to the station and get some water in the tent.
Valero called me about this time last year and said, would you be interested in doing a photo freight in the wintertime? Well, we were going to do the Mass Bay passenger train anyway, so, if we could do it the next day, the steam engine would still be hot. So there are economies in having the engine hot so you can use it the next day. So ultimately we said, sure, we'll do it. And he also wanted a photo session in the evening. So, I guess it was January 3rd of last year, we had our photo session in the evening right here in the yard, and the wind chill must have been 70 below. But there were probably 20 or 30 guys out here with everything blowing around. Some very, very nice photos were taken that evening of 7470 under steam with some freight cars here.
We're going to have a photo line right about the roof. Also, let inside the doorway.
The next day, we left about 6:30 in the morning with 7470 and half a dozen of the old freight cars that we've got up here in the north yard. A couple of box cars, a tank car, and a hopper car, and the wooden caboose that was built in 1910. We usually use those once a year during Rail Fans Day to do a demonstration freight. So we hauled them out again in the wintertime, and this was almost, I guess it was a first for the railroad in that there was no other support equipment out there. It was just the freight train with the caboose. Usually we always had a attachment coach with a generator running creating electricity. We didn't bring that with us, so all we had for heat was a pot-belly stove and the caboose. And once again, it was a cold day, and so about 28 guys ended up, getting into the caboose, and we headed up to Knoxville. And these guys were very serious about the truck. It was all about getting the right photo rotation. So from that day, we might run back and forth a couple of times in that spot. With the Valero group, we might do it 12, 13, 14 times, and so that everybody could change the camera positions and really get the shot that they wanted. And just awful lot of wonderful period photos came out of those kind of truck. Another thing we did, we set 7470 to look like she did when she was a girl at home. We put the Canadian National logos on the tipping. So and we painted out the white side, we also painted it black. So the engine looked very much like it did when it was built in 1921, or in the mid-20s actually. The originally built a red truck and then Canadian National took that over. So there was some nice touches like that. It was all about being as recreating it, because everything is authentic as was possible. And I think it came out very well. Everybody seemed to be very happy.
One of the things that we do here, and I think we do it very, very well, is an annual operation of the Polor Express. We started in 1995 offering a ride and an experience based on Chris Van Allsburg's book of the same name, The Polor Express. And from the very beginning, it was our mission to make sure that we were true to the book. We wanted to reenact everything that appeared and was read in the book. And we've done that very, very well. We started out the first year, we were going to do one trip, and we ended up doing 5 because it became obvious that it was going to be very, very popular. Now, we're 14 years into doing this, and we do it every December. Typically, we do it for 4 nights during the week. We have 2 trips each night. And the magic of it is that, particularly if it's snowing like it does in New England, it is the experience that the children have and that we see when the parents bring their kids on the train and they really, really feel like they are experiencing that which they have read in the book. Our family has a tradition. We read the night before Christmas, and we read the Polor Express on Christmas Eve as we gather the family and friends around. It is one of the, I think it's one of the best things that we have added to the community, if you will, and added to Conway Scenic Railroad in an experience that families can participate in, and we love doing it.
Gibson purchased the Randall Hotel, which is now known as the Eastern Slope Inn, and at the time, his niece actually came to visit him and said, I'm going to take a ski lesson and I want to learn to ski because that's the new rage, and I'd like to go up to Jackson to do that because the closest skiing at the time, this is around 1936-37, was up in Jackson, New Hampshire. So he was outraged that he had, that she had to drive all the way to Jackson to find skiing. So so starts the history of Cranmore Mountain, which Harvey Dow Gibson looked across the valley and worked on a deal to purchase the land, which at the time was called Lookout Mountain, and developed Cranmore, which at the time was recognized as one of the first modern ski areas in the country. Then, of course, once he had the ski area and his hotel and his vision, the last step was really bringing the director of skiing for the country of Austria, which is Hannes Schneider, who had been put under house arrest by the Nazis at the time because of his being outspoken against them taking over Austria. With Harvey Dow Gibson's connections, he was able to get Hannes and his family to come to North Conway, and that brings us to the perfect connection with his influence with bringing skiing to America. His teaching technique really revolutionized skiing in this country, Japan, and countries all over the world because of his influence. So getting him to come to North Conway really was the icing on the cake, so to speak, because it really legitimized everything that was going on with the development of skiing in the North Conway region.